Welcome to VCR, Vintage Cinema Rewind. We're bringing old movies to new viewers. I'm Blake.
Fist of the North Star.
Fists of the North Star.
Do you remember last week when we were talking about Mad Max 2 and I was describing how its cultural impact?
Yeah.
And I was like, and then, that one martial arts anime with the guy. Fist of the North Star. I remembered it today as I was driving over here.
Okay, perfect.
You're welcome. I imagine people at home, doing the dishes, being like, oh, that's what he meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still lost, I'll be honest, but
that's okay.
But here we are. We're doing the top 100, continuing, and this is our halfway point.
This sure is, yeah. We're in the dirty middle ground.
Yeah, we're going to start at 60, get all the way to 41 today.
Okay, great. You mentioned earlier you had a bit of a preamble before we started.
Not too much preamble this week, actually. The only thing I was thinking about as I was kind of editing the episode from last week, I noticed that every movie that you and I have crossed swords on,
okay,
there's probably a better way to say that.
No, I get what you mean. Like movies we've slightly disagreed on.
No, every movie that you and I
that we've both mentioned.
Yeah. Every
okay.
movie that has come up on both of our mutual lists, mine has been slightly lower.
I've been surprised. There's been a few that I'm like, wait, I feel like the people at home might have the the correct assumption that I'm grumpier than you are and that I don't like movies as much as you do. But then on the list, it's saying I'm actually higher on a lot of things than you are.
Yeah.
So
yeah, kind of an interesting outlook that I noticed as I was editing. However, I will say that the first movie that was lower on your list than my list is coming up very soon.
Okay, interesting.
Yes.
I will also confess that there are, Blake and I are taking turns editing this massive project. So I'm working through, I'm currently working through the 90s and the 80s right now before this goes live. And I will say there are a couple 90s and 80s ones that are way higher on my list than they were on yours. You might be able to guess what they are, actually, but we'll get to that.
Cool. Shall we just get into it? Like I said,
I don't really have a preamble either. I will say I am learning a lot about myself just saying all these things out loud, but I think we'll save those revelations for the grand finale.
Cool. Sounds good.
The proverbial fight with Thanos when the skies open up and all our co-stars show up to save the day.
Awesome.
Yeah. And you're starting this week.
So,
I
am. Okay.
Yeah, so start us off.
Okay, cool. We're starting with number 60 today, and my number 60 is a movie that we've done on the podcast. Jason and I did it together, and then you and I watched it again because I really, really like this movie. It actually was my number one favorite movie, I think, 2 years ago.
Is it Ben-Hur?
No, it is Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. One of the greatest remakes of all time, the 1978 version. That stars Donald Sutherland and Brooke Adams, with Leonard Nimoy as well in it, and Jeff Goldblum and Veronica Cartwright. Holy crap, this movie rocks!
a very skinny, slender Jeff Goldblum.
Yes,
like Jeff Goldblum straight out of high school.
The pinnacle or the beginning of his career.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This movie is amazing. I'll never forget the first watch that I had with this movie because, in a sense, it's kind of a mystery film. It's an apocalypse movie, a sci-fi film. It's about an alien invasion, and it's a very sinister, quiet invasion of, I believe, the city of San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies...
That is where the apocalypse would start, by the way. San Francisco. To our San Francisco listeners, you know what you've done.
I mean, not the first time that an apocalypse has begun in San Francisco, notably Planet of the Apes, higher on my list.
Oh, okay. The movie I haven't seen.
Yes.
Okay, so
blows my mind.
I was not telling stories out of school. I was correct.
Yes. This is maybe one of the best horror movies ever made, in my opinion. Objectively, it's like I said, one of the best movie remakes of all time. It's really cool on the first time watching this, not really understanding what's happening, and then really having the rug pulled out from under you about halfway through the movie. And then from there, it's a lot of action for the last half of the film, and one of the all-time bleakest movie endings.
I would agree. I don't remember the movie super well, to be honest, because I don't think I was as high on it as you were. But
obviously not.
No, but I do remember the ending.
Yeah. One of the all-time bleak movie endings. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, for the cynics out there, for the sci-fi heads out there, this one's for you. You need to go and check this one out.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so conversely, my number 60 is a movie that you and I actually saw relatively recently in theaters.
Oh, cool. I think I know what this is.
I don't think you do. I think it was a few months ago, and it's a movie that I actually had to avert my eyes several times. I was so horrified by what was happening on screen.
Wow.
And that is Tim Robinson's Friendship.
Oh, hey, I did not expect Friendship.
No, I remember, like, we left the theater, and I was talking about how I had to, like, look away because of just the sheer amount of cringe on screen. And you were like, I thought you were bored and you wanted to leave. And I was like, I did want to leave, but I wasn't bored. I was horrified. Oh. It's a great cast. So yeah, I guess Tim Robinson used to write for SNL. And
very briefly.
Yeah, and he's been around for a long time, I guess. Like, people know who he is, but, like, he's blown up relatively recently.
Yeah, last 5 years.
Yeah. He's most notable for I Think You Should Leave. Mm-hmm. And, you've got a really stellar performance by Kate Mara in particular.
Yes.
As well as, what's his butt, Paul Rudd.
Yes.
I was about to say Ant-Man, but no. No, this movie, like, I remember a lot of people saying that, like, this is the best comedy in years when it came out. And, like, I'm kind of inclined to agree. Mm-hmm. Like, it's hard to make me laugh, like, genuinely. This movie had me, like, roaring several different times.
Yeah, it's a really cool movie in the sense that, like, we went and saw this in the movie theater. There was probably a dozen or so other people in the movie theater with us. And different parts of this movie just, like, really crushed different people. Like, there were points in time in this movie where you were crying and I was like, yeah, that was funny, but whatever. There was a point, like the Toad scene, I was literally crying. I was laughing so hard.
That might be just the highlight for everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
But there are other moments that, like, literally broke people in our movie theater. It was a fun movie watching experience.
It was a really fun viewing experience. So yeah, Friendship. I'm as surprised this was on my list as you were, but no, I had a really good time.
Cool.
Not the only 2025 movie in this episode, but
oh, nice.
It's in there.
Wow. My number 59 is a movie that I know you hold very near and dear to your heart. That
okay.
I'm sure we'll be talking about later. Can't confirm or deny that.
Okay.
It is one of the great westerns of all time. It's Clint Eastwood's best performance, in my opinion, or best film. Maybe not best performance, but it's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Really?
Yes.
I'm very, very happy to see that on your list.
Absolutely. It absolutely deserves a spot on my list. It deserves a spot on a lot of people's lists. One of the great openers to a film. It's expansive. It's epic. It kind of plods along for a long period of time, but also being very riveting.
Yeah, it's kind of got that really skillful thing where, like, the first 45 minutes are slow, but you're not bored.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is really hard to pull off.
And there's a slow burn build throughout this movie. And it culminates in one of those great movie endings of all time, the Mexican standoff.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yes. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. We did a whole episode on it. We're probably going to talk about it again, I expect.
I can't confirm or deny that.
No spoilers, but yeah, I think we'll save maybe a little bit of a deeper discussion when it ends up on your list.
Yeah, if.
Yes.
Big if.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
So my number 59 is, well, again, as I've mentioned several times already, my only goal with this list was being honest, and nostalgia plays kind of a big role in that, right?
Yep.
Like, I had earlier put Revenge of the Sith on this list, even though I still maintain it's not that great of a movie, but I just had such a good, it was such a formative viewing experience for me.
Right.
And this movie follows the same vein, and that is Pirates of the Caribbean 2, Dead Man's Chest.
Pirates of the Caribbean 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
A movie I barely think about, but I do remember leaving the theater. So actually, fun fact, I remember in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. So fun fact, I remember when Pirates of the Caribbean came out and I thought it looked dumb.
Uh-huh.
And then I remember you telling me it was really good. And again, this is how old Blake and I are.
Yeah.
I think you gave me the VHS or
Probably.
the DVD. And I put
VHS. I have a VHS at my parents' house of that.
Okay, it was VHS.
Yes.
Fuck, we're too old, frankly. But I remember watching it with my whole family, and all four of us were like, wow, like that was pretty good,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So the sequel comes out. We go see it in theaters, and it blew my 13-year-old mind.
Yeah.
I doubt it would hold up that well now. I did rewatch Curse of the Black Pearl a couple years
So
ago.
did I.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a little long, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's like an 8 out of 10 that probably could have used one more cut.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if I should, I'm just gonna, okay, so spoiler alert. The movie ends on like a really exciting cliffhanger.
Right.
I remember coming home to the theater, sprinting down the street. I think you were in your driveway, and I just told you the ending. It was one of those
You
things.
son of a bitch.
No, I know, but it was one of those things where it's like I was so young and just so excited, I just
Yeah.
had to get it out.
Mhm.
I told multiple people the ending, and they were all like, "Michael, what the fuck?" And I was like, I'm sorry." Like,
Somebody ought to whip you, boy.
yeah. So it's funny. I remember like a distant relative who I hadn't seen in like 15 years visiting,
Mhm.
and I was just like, "Have you seen Dead Man's Chest yet?" And I still remember her being like, "What? No, I haven't." And like giving me that look, like, "You need to calm down." So yeah, like this is one for just pure nostalgia.
Cool.
And it's rare to get that same level of excitement for a movie that you had when you were 13.
Yeah, it's like maybe once a year.
Maybe, but like when it does happen, you're just like, ugh. Like it's almost like, it's like I'm still chasing this dragon like
Yep.
20 years later.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
I
I may have one of those dragons. Maybe not on this episode. Actually, no, I do have one on this episode. But there are definitely a couple dragons as we get up higher on my list. Where I was
Yeah.
like, the first time I watched this, I literally just spent the next like 2 days celebrating it.
Yeah, I know, right? And I don't want I'm not an unhappy person. I don't want you to think
I like how you have to keep convincing.
yeah, I
yourself
have to
of
keep
that.
saying it because
Yeah.
people take one look at me and they're like, this guy, this guy, I don't know, but there is something about though that when you're 11 or 12 or 13 and like you haven't really started analyzing or thinking critically about
Yes.
fiction or movies.
Yep.
So you have that kind of like pure love for it.
Right.
That you're just like,
Yes.
I'm so fucking excited.
Yeah. 100%.
So-
There's more than one bad movie that I've watched in my life that my parents have had to suffer through multiple times because of that.
I'm sure they did. And now they're podcast listeners.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for them.
Hi,
It just
Blake.
never ends.
Hi, Blake's mom.
Hi, Blake's dad.
Yeah. Hey, Al. But, okay, yeah, so that's my 59.
Cool. My number 58 is the first crossover that you actually hit first on your list. It was pretty high up last week, I believe. It is one of the A24 all-timers, The Green Knight.
Oh, shit. It
Yeah.
did appear on your
It
list.
did appear on my list.
I thought for sure it wasn't making the cut.
No, I absolutely love this movie. I think
Yeah.
that it is one of the most gorgeous movies of the last 5-6 years. I love the story of this film. I love the contemporary approach, while also the stylization. This movie is borderline a horror film in
Oh, yeah.
style alone.
I didn't mention Barry Keoghan's cameo.
Yeah,
He has an incredible little 5-minute role that really elevates everything.
absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of one of the first times. I think it was the first time. That I saw Barry Keoghan in a movie.
Yeah, right.
So
So
I mean, we already spent a lot of time talking about it last week, but I do again just want to note that I was explaining this movie to somebody even last week. I'm always talking about this movie, honestly.
yeah, it's really good.
Especially to people who like fantasy films and complain that we don't get enough fantasy films. Like this is kind of
do I have a fucking fantasy film for you? Hey, do you like main characters that suck?
yeah, exactly, and characters who are the protagonists of the film, but maybe not all that good of a person.
Yeah, I have to admit, and I might cut this out because this is a little esoteric, but I've been reading a lot of craft books lately, books about writing books, right? And one thing I keep reading over and over and over again is that the hero has to fail. And he has to be beset on all sides by misfortune. And you don't really think about that all that much, right?
Right.
That like the hero is just constantly in good movies most of the time, no matter how well intentioned or skilled the hero is, he's almost always just falling on his face over and over and over again. So this though is a main character who falls on his face and then is like chewing on the mud and grass before he gets up. Okay. I'm probably cutting this out, but I might actually just leave it in. I don't know.
We'll find out.
I guess we will.
Yeah. No, I think also, like, I want to shout out Dev Patel as well. We haven't said his name, but
He's a great actor.
yeah, fantastic actor. I think this is, again, one of those all-time
He
performances.
plays a really good, like, kind of privileged mama's boy who's
Yes.
like not a bad guy, but has also never really had to work hard at anything.
Right. And this is the first challenge that he's ever faced in his entire life.
Yeah, and he is just chewing mud the entire time.
Yeah, it's great. Love this movie. Love The Green Knight.
Okay, so my number 58 is, I feel like, I'm noticing that the theme for this episode is nostalgia.
Yep.
This is a movie that I watched as a young lad. I remember my dad taking me and my sister to see it in theaters. I have since rewatched it multiple times, like maybe like every 5 years or 10 years, something like that. And I kind of grow a greater appreciation for it each time. And that movie is DreamWorks' Shrek 2.
Shrek 2!
Shrek
Look at
fucking
you!
2.
Honestly, so again, I'm not sorry. I'm cutting you off for a brief second.
That's okay.
Jess and I have been rewatching the Shrek movies, and we finished Shrek 2 late last year. Loved it.
No,
way better as an adult.
No, I mean, you know what's funny is like you notice different things as an adult. Like
Yes.
on my most recent rewatch, you remember when like the giant gingerbread man is like storming the gates?
Yep.
There's a scene where like he basically crushes like, the medieval equivalent of a Starbucks.
Right.
And like for a brief second, you see all these patrons leaving the medieval Starbucks. Then they run across the street to an absolutely identical medieval Starbucks. And I was like, that's a good fucking joke. That's just like, bravo, right? That would have gone totally over my head as a kid. But
I mean, at its core, this is a movie about two adults trying to navigate down in their relationship. Like,
yeah,
it's literally an adult kids movie.
I know, right? And I think that's, if there's one thing I've learned about myself throughout making this list is that I really have a soft spot for like kids movies that aren't really for kids.
You're right.
Or that deal with way more mature subjects. It's also like, and this is something that you only really confront as you get older, but it's like you get into a relationship and you start asking yourself, okay, what am I willing to change about myself?
Right.
Like what is intrinsic to me that I can't alter, and what can I alter to make someone else happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, great movie. Nothing but I rewatched the first movie not too long ago. Well, a few years ago now.
Yep.
It doesn't really hold up for me, but
Not as well. Honestly,
No.
number 2 is sincerely a special film.
absolutely.
Yeah, didn't quite make my top 100, but a very, very, very good movie.
Very, very good.
Speaking
I
of...
also liked the Cops parody.
Nice.
Catnip. Oh, that's not mine.
My number 57 is a movie. Funny enough, you actually mentioned it at the beginning of this episode. It is one of the grandest, biggest films ever made in Hollywood history. It is Ben-Hur.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I had a feeling that would appear on your list.
Yeah, it's one of the few movies that I unfortunately didn't get a chance to rewatch before the top 100 list. So it's a movie that I maybe feel a little less confident about whether it should be up a few positions or down a few positions. But
yeah.
it's truly like something special. It's the grand story of Judah Ben-Hur and
Jesus.
and essentially Jesus.
Yeah.
The movie, like the last 30 minutes feel ever so slightly unnecessary.
Yeah.
Especially, when you reach the highs of the chariot race. But
yeah, there's no real coming down from that.
Exactly. It kind of maybe overstays its welcome ever so slightly, and maybe that's why I've got it at 57.
I not to cut you off, but that's a movie. So I wasn't on the podcast, but
Yeah.
we watched it together.
Mm-hmm.
And all I really knew about this movie was that Charlton Heston was in it, and there was a chariot race, right?
Right.
So I actually really liked how they portrayed Jesus,
Yeah.
our Lord and Savior. You know, how they like always had his face out of frame and he never speaks.
Right.
Like I thought, and just the idea that it's like, it's historical fiction where the main character brushes elbows with like, you know, a very prominent historical person, but like it's not really, it is kind of like the Forrest Gump effect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yeah, absolutely, right? Like, and I think Pontius Pilate shows up. Like, there's a lot of historical figures that kind of make appearances because it's, you know, like I said, this is a grand epic movie. This takes place in several different locations in the Middle East, in Rome, in Italy, in, I believe there's some times in the Sahara Desert and in Africa. Like, the scale of this film is almost uncomparable to anything else that you've ever seen. I will also say, you know, like there is the religious aspect to it, obviously it taking place during Jesus times, but you know, I'm not particularly a religious person and I still gravitate very heavily towards this film.
yeah, I mean, you get it, right?
Yeah. It's epic. It is
Yeah.
literally epic.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah. My number
Okay.
57, Ben-Hur, the OG.
The OGs.
Yeah.
So my number 57 is actually a movie that you showed me earlier this year. And I liked it so much, it was such a pleasant surprise that I rewatched it a little bit later.
Oh, wow.
Liked it even more.
Mhm.
And that is a little film called The Nice Guys.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, The Nice Guys may have had a spot in my 90 through 99 if there weren't a couple of like high recent first
Strong
watches.
Contenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really,
I mean,
really, really good movie.
so this is a movie that like really bombed when it came out.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think it bombed. It just didn't. It got a little overshadowed.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even hear about it, right?
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. If you'd asked me if I wanted to see a comedy with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, I probably would have just gave you a funny look and changed the subject. Holy fuck, this movie slaps. Like it's so good. It's by the guy who it's Shane Black, the guy who did the Lethal Weapon movies.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot of the same hallmarks, right? But it's, you know, it's I mean, the standout performance is Ryan Gosling, right?
Absolutely.
And it's kind of a meme that like every young man has a man crush on Ryan Gosling, but like I think this might be his best performance.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some bold fighting words.
I didn't expect him to be that funny. You know what I mean?
He has great comedic timing. He has a movie coming out next year called Project Hail Mary, which is a Peter Weir, I think his name's that.
I think it's Andy Weir.
Andy Weir,
Yeah.
yes. So it's an Andy Weir, based on an Andy Weir novel, and Jess and I are in the middle of listening to the audiobook right now,
Mm-hmm.
and listening to it, all you can picture is Ryan Gosling in the main role. Like, he is so well cast. I actually think that this and, like, The Nice Guys and Crazy Stupid Love are the two comedic performances where it really feels like he's going to easily be able to jump into the main character of Project Hail Mary.
Yeah, it's funny. Like for such a like tall, handsome, like athletic guy, he plays a loser so well.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, kind of like a little insecure.
Yeah.
Like you somehow believe that this very attractive man can be ever so slightly insecure.
Right. Well, it's funny. You know, I think actually my all-time favorite moment of the movie is when there's a shootout going on at Ryan Gosling's house, and Russell Crowe is like crouching under like the kitchen counter, and Ryan Gosling runs in with a gun.
Yeah.
And Russell Crowe's like, "Toss me the gun," and he misses and chucks the gun right out the window. But Russell Crowe goes like, "Fuck!" But the look on his face is less, "I'm so mad at you for throwing this gun out the window." It's more like, "I can't believe I thought you could perform this basic task without fucking it up."
Nice.
Yeah. So no, really like the movie.
Awesome. My number 56 is a movie that has definitely been hailed as one of the best movies of the 2020s. It's a film that I've watched now multiple times. It's, again, up there with The Green Knight in most rewatches over the last 5 years. And that is a little film called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Great fucking movie.
Great movie. Absolutely fantastic. We have talked about this movie so much on this podcast ever since it's come out, so I feel like I don't need to elaborate too much on this movie. This is a movie that I would recommend to literally everyone.
Literally everyone,
Yeah,
right?
it has so much heart. It is so unique in the story that it's telling and the characters that it's telling it about. It has some absolutely fantastic performances from some actors that mean a lot to me and a lot to my childhood. Example, Ki Hai Kwan being, one of the standout childhood actors of my life. It's just, such a special movie, and it has a lot of meaning to everyone. I'm so happy that it won the Oscar when it came out because it deserved it. I think this is like one of the most, happy endings to an Oscar Best Picture that I've ever felt before. And Ki Hai Kwan winning Best Supporting Actor as well is
It really
magic.
is kind of like a testament to just not giving up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can take a break if you want, but you have to just keep grinding away.
Yeah.
I think it's a testament to both the writing and his acting. That what's that line, like, in another life I would have loved to do laundry and taxes with you.
Right.
It's almost like that's easily the most quoted line from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something so profound and beautiful about it.
Yeah. So much of this movie is profound and beautiful.
Mhm.
That's just a really great way to describe this film. And again, I feel like I don't need to talk about this one too much because it's so recent and it's something that we've talked about multiple times on this podcast. So
Okay.
number 56, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay. Well, my number 56 is a movie that made me cry.
Mhm.
It's from a director that I really admire who's getting a lot of heat right now. Like good heat, not bad heat.
Oh, okay.
I just
Okay.
want to clarify. And, it's a movie that I didn't, I actually saw it with our friend John, and it was one of those things where it's like, do you want to go see this movie? And I was like, yeah, whatever.
Mhm.
And I cried in the theater.
Wow.
It had such a...
Did John let you hold him?
He did. And, well, it's not...
Or did he hold you, I guess?
It's not
while you
so much
cried?
that he let me, it's that he couldn't stop me. And that is James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't think you've seen it yet.
I have seen it, actually. I watched it last year over Christmas.
I think it's really a testament to James Gunn's skill as a storyteller and writer and director that, like, it's almost, it sounds preposterous when I say it out loud, that, like, he can make a CG talking raccoon voiced by a very irritated sounding Bradley Cooper, and he can dive into his traumatic origin story and make an entire theater cry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I was never as high on Guardians 1 as everyone else was.
Mhm.
I think I like Guardians 2 a little bit more.
And you're wrong, but go on.
Yeah. But I mean, this one I was just like, okay, fuck. Like, put him in charge of DC. Like,
This is an incredibly mature film as well.
yeah.
Like, it kind of ends on a bit of a bittersweet note. Like, not everything ends up being hunky-dory for everybody in every relationship. But I kind of commend James Gunn for being able to kind of land the plane on this bittersweet ending to these characters.
Right. And again, like, what I want out of a story, I think, is just big emotions, whether
Mhm.
that's a lot of happiness or a lot of despair. And, like, I've gone back to the scene where Peter Quill is trying to resuscitate Rocket time and time again, because there's just something so, like, moving about that moment, right?
Right.
There's something so devastating about it.
Mhm.
And it's we're trying to resuscitate a CG talking raccoon, and I'm like hooked by it.
Yeah, it's great. I at some point probably should rewatch it. I might have been a little bit fatigued by superhero movies still at this point, where it didn't. I thought it was a really good movie, and I love the bittersweetness to it. But it wasn't one that I maybe spent a lot of time thinking about afterwards.
Yeah, sometimes that does happen, right? But no, this is a movie I really, really liked a lot.
Cool.
And genuinely love.
Cool. My number 55 is a movie, again, that we've spent some time talking about. I've mentioned it a few times on this podcast. It's another 2020s movie, and it's, again, one of those high rewatches for me, just because it's such a fun movie. And that is Palm Springs.
Hell yeah. Great
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah, this is just, one of the great rom-coms of the last 5 years.
Which we don't really get a lot of anymore, do we?
Yeah, it has a lot to say still, even being a rom-com, which I find really cool. It stars Andy Samberg and Kristen Milotti. And yeah, I absolutely love this movie. I don't think I want to spend a lot of time talking about, the Groundhog Day aspect of this film or all of the other awesome stuff that this film kind of entails, because I've spent episodes talking about this one already. But if you have not seen Palm Springs at this point, you really owe it to yourself to check this one out, because I think this movie is maybe even ever so slightly underrated. I think people really like this, but maybe not everybody who should see this movie has seen this movie yet.
I remember being dismissive of it when it came out.
Yeah.
Just being like, oh, it's another fucking Andy Samberg movie, right?
Right, and another Groundhog movie.
Yeah, right? Like,
Yeah.
ugh. But
Yeah.
I actually rewatched it, I think, over Christmas holiday last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, I mean, it's got J.K. Simmons in it, which, like, instantly elevates the material,
Yeah, it
right?
brings it up at least half a star just having J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, so, no, great choice.
Yeah. That is my number 55, Palm Springs.
Palm Springs. So, Blake,
Yes.
did you know that I have a soft spot for Disney movies?
I'm aware.
Did you know that I also have a soft spot for musicals?
No.
Did you know that I have a soft spot for animated Disney musicals?
Called Beauty and the Beast?
No, that is a good choice, though. That didn't quite make the cut.
Oh, wow.
This is a movie I saw a couple years ago on Disney Plus, and I was a
Ah.
little like, fuck, like, this is good.
Yep.
Like, I didn't expect this to be great, but it's great.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Encanto.
Yes. As soon as you jog my memory, yeah, I remember you talking about this one. This one was really high on your list that year that it came out.
Yeah, like 2022, I believe, or at least I saw it in 2022. And, like, I actually have to commend this movie for being as good as it was. Like, it's about a, Latin American family. It deals with themes of, like, perfectionism and being left out. And I mean, when I say it's a Disney movie about generational trauma, I'm not fucking with you. So it's got great music. Like, the characters are all great and well defined. Like, I think I remember watching this with my old roommate, and we're two dudes about to crash into our 30s. And I remember looking over at him and being like, that was really fucking good. And he's like, I know, that was really fucking good. So another theme I'm noticing about myself is that I clearly also have a soft spot for movies that I underestimate or that I don't expect to go as hard as they do, which I think is probably true for everyone. But yeah, no, I mean, I really like this movie. I remember, like, for weeks afterwards, when I would go for walks, I would put on the soundtrack.
Oh, wow.
So, like, there's a scary-looking 29-year-old man stalking the streets, but in my AirPods, it's just like, we don't talk about Bruno.
Nice.
Everyone's like, that guy looks troubled. I wonder what he's listening to. It's probably like Linkin Park, but I'm just walking around like, yeah. Like,
Nice.
yeah. So, anyways.
Yeah, I think the other kind of general theme of your list is there's a lot of nostalgia baked in, and whether that's nostalgia for movies that you saw when you were a child or even movies that make you nostalgic for your childhood. I think that's kind of maybe one overarching theme I've noticed from yours.
I guess so, right? I think there is something too that, like, I think in some ways we are, like, fully formed by the time we're 13. In some ways, like, I think, like, I might, like, like, I look at what I'm doing now creatively with, like, fantasy and different things and blah, 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 blah. And then I look at the shit I used to do when I was, like, 10, 12, 11, 13, and I'm kind of like, man, in a lot of ways, my interests haven't really changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would agree. For the most part, like, I would say that my brain finished forming at 25, and that's pretty much, I've just been the same guy since I was 25.
I'm inclined to agree with that. Yeah,
But
you top out.
There is kind of something to be said about the nostalgia of your tween years, your teen years, and so on.
Yeah, absolutely.
My next movie, my number 54, is a movie that I do have some nostalgia for. It's a movie that I think you introduced me to a long time ago, and that we did on this podcast relatively recently, within the last year. It's a movie in which the sequel of it, or one of the sequels of it, made it onto your top 100 list, and that is a little film called Rocky.
Oh shit!
Rocky, one of the all-time great movie endings, top 5 in my opinion, maybe top 10. It's just such a classic. Not everything holds up in this movie. It's a late 70s film about a working class bruiser in Philadelphia.
Bruiser is the right term for it.
But yeah, the fact that this movie went as hard as it did, the fact that Sylvester Stallone wrote this film,
I mean, this movie becomes even more special when you think about what a success story it is for him.
Yeah.
Like, this guy had nothing,
It
and
is
he put it all on the line for this movie.
Yeah, it's one of the great success stories of Hollywood. It's one of the great success stories of the 20th century. It's impossible not to root for the Rocky character in this film.
Oh, yeah. It's impossible not to love the guy.
Yeah.
I had this argument with someone recently. I'm like, no, like, Sylvester Stallone's so dumb. And I'm like, he's a brilliant writer and an even better actor.
Yeah.
And they're like, shut up, Michael. And I'm like, no, you shut up. Like, I was like, go watch the original Rocky. He's brilliant in that movie.
Yeah. I would argue better writer, actually, than actor. I think that Sylvester Stallone is one of the great writers of the 20th century.
Which is funny because I saw an interview with him with his daughters when he admitted that like he hates writing so much that he won't even journal.
Wow.
Which is I can't imagine that that's true. But
yeah, no, a movie that we've done on the podcast. Had a lot of fun rewatching that one and working my way through the Rocky series again. I'm looking forward to trying out Creed. I've never seen a Creed movie, but
really,
yeah,
I only saw Creed 1, but that's another movie I was very dismissive of when I heard about it. Then I watched it a few years later. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
They got me.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the all-time greats, Rocky.
Dun, 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 dun. My number 54 is a movie that you actually showed me.
Cool.
Recently. I don't want viewers to get the impression
you know what, though? You're about to say that I only show you movies, but Rocky was the one that you showed me, so...
That's true. It is a little bit of it's a mutual gateway drug experience.
Yeah, number 54, common theme.
Common theme. It's a movie that like I'd kind of heard about, but I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. And holy fuck, like I think about this movie all the time.
Yeah.
I think you only showed it to me like 3 months ago, but I was like, probably not even that long ago, but I'm still like, wow, like that was good. Like I'm really, really impressed.
Huh.
And it's become the subject of some memes on my algorithm. So I'm like, I get it now. I know where this is from. And that is Companion.
Oh, Companion. Great movie.
Companion.
One of my favorites of 2025 so far.
Absolutely. Great performances. I think it came out at just the right time. I've noticed discourse around AI has kind of shifted a little bit where now that the novelty's over with, we're all kind of like, hey, should we actually be outsourcing everything to AI, right? Like, I see that, who is it? Google, Meta, something like that. They actually released an update where, okay, there's some AIs you can actually, like, you can get the premium subscription and you can talk to them.
Right.
Well, like, South Park just did an episode making fun of this. The problem with those is that they just kind of tell you exactly, the AI is programmed to tell you what you want to hear.
Absolutely.
Right? Yep. So I think Google or whoever just released an update where they've actually scaled that back, but people are upset about it. So anyway, whatever. I'm rambling, but this is a great movie. Like I like how it's structured. I like how it paces itself.
Yes.
I like how it doesn't lean right into the reveal. It takes its time before you get there.
Well, and I think that this movie very carefully sets it up to be one thing and then has these constant smaller and smaller reveals before the movie really fully reveals itself to you. Yeah,
and just one last thing. I do think the standout performance is Jack Quaid as the boyfriend.
Yes.
And it's funny how like this particular villain can be so pathetic and so stupid but still like menacing.
Right.
So like God.
Yeah, Jack Quaid's going to probably shape up to be an actor that's of similar age to you and I, that you and I spend the rest of our lives probably casually paying attention to what he's doing.
Like I remember when he was in Companion.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a lot of stuff, and I feel like his stardom is only growing right now. So it's really cool.
With good reason. I like this movie a lot. Don't use your AI for therapy. It's a bad idea.
Or sex.
Or that too. Well, all right, or that too.
My number 53 is a film that is often regarded as one of the great first half of a movie ever.
Is it The Thin Red Line? No, is it is it the Kubrick movie?
It is the Kubrick movie.
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket. Yes, one of the all-time great war movies of the 70s. One of Stanley Kubrick's best films. It is a movie where the first half, when all of the guys are in training to go to Vietnam really stands out. Like, honestly, if Kubrick wanted to make a borderline short film and just cut it at that first half, it would have been a perfect movie. However,
Yeah.
what people forget is that the second half of this movie is also very good.
Yeah, so fun fact, we watched this together on New Year's Eve of last year.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, I don't remember anything about the second half.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting how it really is for me anyway, and I'm not trying to like take this away from you.
Yep.
It's kind of a case study for like don't get rid of your two most likable characters halfway through a movie.
However, what I'll say is I think that's actually a first watch problem.
Okay.
On subsequent watches, once you know what to expect and you know what you're getting into, I think the second half of it starts to reveal itself a little bit more to you. And some of the specialness of the directing and where the different performances pop and like really what this movie is about.
Yeah.
So I fully recommend Full Metal Jacket to everyone because I think it's just one of those all-time classic films that holds up incredibly well. Like, there's not a thing in this movie. There's some upsetting things in this movie.
There's lots of upsetting
there's
things in this movie.
A lot of upsetting things in this movie. There are things that, like I think this is one of the true anti-war movies. Like, one of the true, like, doesn't make you feel pumped up by the end. It multiple times will genuinely upset you while watching.
Yeah.
And a lot of war movies don't quite achieve that. And Full Metal Jacket, Stanley Kubrick, one of the greats.
Okay.
My number 53.
Number 53. So my number 53 is the polar fucking opposite of Full Metal Jacket. This is a movie that I loved as a kid and still love as an adult, and that is Disney's The Lion King.
I knew it was going to show up. I thought it was going to show up actually higher on your list.
I thought so too, but here it fucking is.
Cool.
So, yeah, I mean, what can you say about The Lion King? It's Hamlet, but with cats, Like, apparently this was Gregory Peck's favorite animated movie.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
There you go, right?
Yeah.
I mean...
dropping some knowledge.
I guess so, right? I remember when the remake came out a few years ago, I went and saw it by myself in theaters and was very upset by it. I went home and rewatched the original. I'm like, yeah, this is the real shit.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I wanted to point out, I remember when we were 10 years old, I remember you giving me shit for liking this movie too much. I remember you being like, yeah, that movie's for babies. And I was like, well, guess what, Blake? Someday you're going to start a podcast, and I'm going to hijack it so I can talk about it.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, maybe somewhat infamously in our friendship, I have always been ever so slightly down on The Lion King. Never really jammed with me. I'm more of an Ants guy.
More of an Ants guy. Okay,
a
that's
man of high taste.
A man of high taste. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think part of what really sells me on this movie is Scar. I think he's genuinely like one of the best villains in all of fiction.
Yep.
Famously voiced by Jeremy Irons. And
yes.
Yeah, I know they made a prequel type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Last December, the Mufasa movie.
Yep.
And I remember being like, why the fuck does this exist? I'm kind of the target.
Was that the live action one?
Yeah, well, kind of live action.
Yeah. Live action, but everything is CGI'd.
I remember thinking, like, I'm kind of the demographic because I have nostalgia for this property.
Yep.
And I'm insulted that this movie exists.
Did you watch it?
No, of course not. So,
good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I do remember listening to a lot of podcasts at the time, and everyone kind of had the same reaction where it's like, why does this exist? Why did you even make this?
Yeah.
Which is kind of not what you want out of your newly released movie.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Fair enough. Number 53, The Lion King. Cool. Yeah, I definitely expect to see that one on your list. And as I mentioned, will not be showing up on my list.
Okay.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid, so like maybe I would rewatch it now and be like, wow, this is the greatest movie ever made, but I don't think so.
Okay.
My number 52, kind of following on the train of maybe somewhat upsetting movies, although I think this movie has such an energy to it that it's kind of undeniable, and that is Trainspotting.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Trainspotting didn't quite make my top 100, but I was trying to work it in somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Scotland. This is one of the great Scottish movies of all time. It has a pretty awesome cast starring Ewan McGregor as Rent Boy, Mark Renton, a film about drug abuse and the friends that you have in your teenage years, moving into your 20s, and all of the chaos and misfortune that will befall on your group of friends as you all kind of move apart, but all still hang out together. There's one great line in this movie, like early on in this film, where
I think I know what you're talking about.
yeah, where it's they're talking about Bagby, and he's like, yeah, he's kind of an ass, but he's our mate.
Okay, not what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, and it's just about self-destruction and drug abuse, and it has one of the all-time great scores of a film. I think this movie is secretly one of the most darkly funny films ever made as well.
The moment that I always come back to in this movie is his whole rant about how much it fucking sucks to be Scottish.
Right. Yeah. There's some really great quotes in this movie as well. I watch this movie semi-regularly because I absolutely adore it. I adore every aspect of it. It's upsetting. It's uplifting. It's just pure magic. It's my favorite Danny Boyle movie as well. So last time we're going to see Danny Boyle on this list, but Trainspotting at number 52.
Trainspotting at numero 52.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I didn't realize how many recent 2025 movies were on my, like, in the middle of my list. But number 52 is a movie that you've already mentioned. I'm going to mention it again.
Cool.
That is Sinners.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to mention that actually a couple of movies ago.
Yeah, no, I fucking loved this movie, like, a lot. I think it's, it's Michael B. Jordan's best performance. I mean, it's a dual performance, right, as the twins.
Yep.
Like, I like the setting. I like the period, I think when we walked out of the theater, I even said something about how, like, I feel like there's always this discourse about how, like, film is dying and, like, it's all just become, like, Star Wars and Marvel slop.
Yep.
But, like, I'm like, no, like, I mean, good shit is still getting made. Like,
Yeah.
There's 3 2025 movies on my top 100. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, this movie, it's phenomenal. I know you took a little bit of issue with the third act.
There's just a little jank in the transition from the second to the third act. I actually think that the first half of this movie is flawless.
I do think, I've heard that that's a common complaint, that, like, some people actually think the movie gets worse once the vampires show up.
Yeah.
But I think that's just kind of a testament to, like, the character writing, that, like, we can be so invested in, like, these dudes just setting up a little honky tonk and having a good old time. But no, I really, really loved this movie.
Yeah, I've listened to some podcasts about this one recently, and people just kind of discussing some of the deeper cuts in this film, because obviously you and I are a couple of white dudes from Canada. Like, we don't have as much of the DNA of this movie in our everyday lives.
I mean,
right?
we barely have any DNA at all.
So yeah, this is a movie that, you and I are a little bit more a few steps away from in terms of, like, the setting and the atmosphere and the times, but I think it's a movie that is going to be revered for a long time.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Yeah. I hope it wins at least some Oscars next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, Sinners.
Number 52. Cool. My number 51. We're here. We're at the halfway point of film.
Woo!
Yeah. And what a halfway point movie to have picked for myself. This is my first Martin Scorsese film on my list. It's one of the all-time most exciting, invigorating, upsetting films ever made, and that is The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Goodfellas.
No.
Okay.
No.
I think people do. It's funny because everyone. What are you fucking trying to say, Michael?
Piece together a thought,
yeah,
motherfucker.
I feel like it's a movie that is often overlooked, but at the same time, like, people forget what an event it was when this movie came out.
Yes.
That was kind of right at the start of, like, the streaming renaissance when people weren't going to the theaters as much. Mm-hmm. But this is one of those movies that, like, I literally remember everybody going to the theater to see.
Yeah, like, everybody talked about this movie in
2014?
2013.
Oh, excuse
me. It was released. Yes. It like you said, it was an event movie. It's the movie that I think especially our generation who maybe weren't as familiar with Martin Scorsese really connected to, right? And especially in the light of like the post 2008 era, like it coming out and kind of being about these dirtbag traders on Wall Street, I think it really connected with people. And it's a movie where, you kind of love to hate the guy. It's one of the great Leonardo DiCaprio performances as well.
I have a hot take.
Yeah.
I think this is his second best performance.
Interesting. Are you willing to say what his best is, or
No.
are we going to share that later?
We're going to share that later.
Cool. Yeah, I think that this is one of Leonardo DiCaprio's best performances. I haven't looked to see if he makes it on the top.
I also,
else,
I think this is arguably Jonah Hill's best performance.
It's so unhinged.
Yeah,
I love it too, and like some of like the background trivia of him just taking like the lowest amount of pay that he could take to work with Marty.
Right, like didn't he only make like $60K or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Which that's not a small amount of money, but
No.
like yeah.
In 2013, Jonah Hill was at the peak of his powers.
And the peak of his like fatness too.
Yes. Yeah.
That was peak Jonah Hill.
Yes, absolutely. The Wolf of Wall Street is just such an exciting movie. It's like almost 3 hours long, and it feels like it's an hour and a half. It's wild.
It's good. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my number 51. The pivotal movie in our top 100
The
list.
turning point. Yeah.
Yes, the TSN turning point. I actually have a TSN turning point a little bit later in this episode.
Okay, tight.
Yeah.
My number 51 is actually another crossover moment. It's a movie that is very, very similar to another one of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I was actually surprised that I liked this version more. And that is Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior.
I'm
genuinely surprised that I like it more than Fury Road. Because I really like Fury Road.
There's something special about The Road Warrior.
I think part of it is that I just like how stripped down and simple it is.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something to know that like this was a long time ago before CG when things were a little rougher, and they still managed to make this fucking movie.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's arguably Mel Gibson's best performance, even though he says all of like 50 words in the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, this movie is responsible for so much of our culture. And, a lot of the movies on our top 100 list that we've even talked about today probably owe some sort of recognition towards The Road Warrior, right?
it's funny. I remember being like fucking 14 and watching an old episode of South Park where the boys and the girls are about to square off.
Mm-hmm.
And Butters or somebody gets on the megaphone or the microphone, and he's just like, "Just walk away." I rewatched that episode recently. I'm like, "Oh, that's what they were making fun of."
Yeah, there's kind of pre The Road Warrior and post The Road Warrior. And once you've seen The Road Warrior, it's hard not to see The Road Warrior in every other piece of our culture.
Especially in Fists of the North Star. There, I did it.
Nice.
Rounded
Look
it out.
at you. Look
Yeah.
at you. Number 51. That's a great movie. I'm so glad that we are pivoting around The Wolf of Wall Street and The Road Warrior.
Hell yeah.
Cool. All right. The pivotal moment of our podcast, or the whole podcast? Yes. We are halfway through the entire life of this podcast.
Exactly. We're in the middle ground.
This is where we get serious with our top 50 films
You
now.
know I hate being serious about anything. It's not my strong suit.
Well, it's my turn to start, I believe.
It is.
Correct?
You are correct.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with a deeply unserious film that is very near and dear to my heart. My number 50 is, I think, my favorite rom-com of all time. Let me just check that. It is my favorite rom-com of all time.
It's not Sleepless in Seattle, is it?
It is not Sleepless in
Good.
Seattle, but funny enough, also a film written by Nora Ephron, and that is When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah, you've talked about this movie so many times over the years. Never seen it.
Yeah, this is one that I think that you should watch with your special someone at some point, your special lady friend, because it is one of the great films of the 1980s.
You know what's funny? My brain kind of isn't sure how to categorize this movie. Like sometimes I'm like, is that the movie with the guy who falls in love with the lesbian? No, that's Chasing Amy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Not at all similar.
Okay.
No, When Harry Met Sally is one of the great rom-coms starring Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan. It takes place over a number of years in New York as these two characters start in their college years and end probably about 12 or 13 years later.
Okay.
It's kind of like one of the great will they won't they's romance films of the last 50 years. I think that pretty much every rom-com that has followed When Harry Met Sally pretty much has When Harry Met Sally to thank for.
It's kind of set the formula.
Yeah, it set the formula. It also kind of just set the bar as well, in my opinion. This is also the first time that Rob Reiner is showing up, I think, as a director on both of our lists. I can guarantee that this will not be the last time I speak about Rob Reiner. He has one of the greatest 5 movie runs of all time in the 1980s, and
he had a little generational run.
Yeah,
he was cooking.
He was. And so When Harry Met Sally, again, a movie that Jason and I did on the podcast years ago now, that I really, really love. So yeah, it's our go-to Valentine's Day movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the movie where Julia Roberts plays a prostitute? No. Okay.
You're thinking of less good movies.
Okay.
That I have all watched for whatever reason.
Okay. My number 50 is also quite an unserious movie. This is a movie that I came out with. Excuse me.
You're not.
I didn't release this movie when I was a teenager. I was not working in the industry. This is a movie that came out when I was a teenager. I remember leaving our local theater, glancing over my shoulder and seeing the display and thinking, "Oh, that's fucking stupid." Ugh, right? Mm-hmm. And then I caught a few glimpses of it while working at the drive-in, and I was like, "Wow, this is actually really good." And that is Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda.
Or as I like to call it, Kung Fu Amanda.
Kung Fu Amanda, the legend of Kung Fu Amanda on our podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, and I guess this really is the grand tradition of movies that didn't need to go as hard as they did, or movies that I wasn't expecting to be as good as they were. But no, this movie is great. It's got a lot of heart. It's got a phenomenal tight screenplay, killer voice performances. Jack Black has gone on record as saying that he thinks Poe is his best character.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a huge... I don't think that's outside of the realm of acceptable.
Possibility. Yeah, no. And it also has, and I will die on this hill, the best fight scene I've ever seen in a movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
The amount of time that I've spent thinking about Kung Fu Panda is probably on par with the amount of time that you've talked about Kung Fu Panda on our podcast.
Yeah, every time I bring it up, you're like, oh yeah, those movies exist, right? Yeah. No, I genuinely have nothing. It also has one of my favorite villains in a movie, Tai Lung, voiced by the incredible Ian McShane, who's had some incredible dental work done recently, if you know what I mean. But no, this movie, it's good. It's really, really fucking good. I feel like no one believes me when I stress how good it is, but no, it's really, really good.
No, I should rewatch it out of respect. Out of the lack of respect I have for you, I haven't. But maybe someday I'll respect you enough to watch it again.
Okay, no, it sucks. It sucks. Now you should watch it.
So my number 49 is a movie that is actually deeply serious, but also kind of has this energy to it that the whole time you're like, wow, this is a really serious movie, and yet it kind of rocks, and then suddenly ends very dark. Is a movie that is one that I don't believe you've seen before.
Okay.
It's one of Spike Lee's earliest movies. It's the one and only Spike Lee movie on my top 100 list, and that is Do the Right Thing.
That's the one you just watched, right?
Yes,
I remember you talking
about
about
it,
it,
and it absolutely floored me. It's a film. I like how IMDb describes it. The description on there is on the hottest day of the year on a street in the Bedford, Suizdvit section of Brooklyn. Everyone's hate and bigotry smolders and builds until it explodes into violence. And
hey, by the way, IMDb, that's a fucking killer synopsis.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think I could describe this movie any better than that brief synopsis. I'd always kind of wondered, what is this movie actually about? And to me, this is a really unique, but at the same time, evergreen look at the Black American experience. It's a movie that it doesn't shy away from maybe some of the controversy within that community. It kind of flips the mirror back on itself at times. But I think that this is one of the one of the most strongly thematically written films of all time. It's a film that pits an Italian American family against the black community in which it services, which they run a pizza place out of. It has some really fantastic performances from some actors that I genuinely wasn't expecting to see in this movie. Like, for example, Samuel Jackson has a pretty big role in this. Giancarlo Esposito in a very, very early appearance. John Turturro as one of the Italians in this movie. And Ozzie Davis, an actor that as soon as you see him, you're like, oh, yes, Ozzie Davis, I know that guy. He also was in... Oh, you know why I know him? It's because he's one of the main actors in Bubba Hotep, which is a movie I recently watched.
Oh, Bubba fucking... Oh, that guy. Yeah.
So he's such a familiar face. But yeah, no, this movie is electric and also wildly depressing. And by the end, it's kind of like nothing ever changes. This, like we're just stuck in the pattern of humanity. And it honestly...
That's the worst pattern to be stuck in.
It's somewhat depressing, if I'm being honest. However, I think this is the first film that I can confidently say on my list is a perfect 10 out of 10 movie.
Wow, that is high praise. Like, perfect 10 out of 10.
Perfect 10 out of 10 movie.
Fucking hell. Okay, I might have to go see this.
Yeah, I
also
highly
need to
recommend
see.
this movie.
I also need to see Bubba Hotep.
Yeah, I liked that movie, but I didn't love it. It was
Okay.
fine. It was completely fine.
Okay. Well, my number 49 is, well, before I get into that, I need to confess something.
Mm-hmm.
I am not really a Scorsese guy.
Right.
And that feels weird to say. That's almost like saying I'm not a Gravity guy.
He just doesn't vibe with you. Like I think his vision is not something that you particularly interested in.
I don't think it's so much his vision. I think I just don't really vibe with like gangster or crime movies.
Right.
It's not that I hate them.
Yep.
I'm just like, they're not the kind of movies I seek out.
Mm-hmm.
But I did see this movie relatively recently, and it blew me away with how good it was.
Mm-hmm.
I really wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, but I really had nothing but good things to say about it. And that is a little movie called Cape Fear.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cape Fear.
And not just because it inspired the best Simpsons episode of all time. No, really, that's one of those movies I was just like, wow. Like, I watched the whole thing completely glued to the screen. When it was over, I said to no one, because I was single and living alone at the time, I was like, that was fucking good. That was really, really good.
I've been meaning to get back to this one.
Yeah, I mean, probably De Niro's best performance. I think I'm comfortable saying that, too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fight me. So, yeah, no, nothing but good things to say about this movie.
Yeah, we did it for the podcast a few years ago, right before... Oh, what was the movie that he was releasing at that time?
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yes,
yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon. We decided to do a Scorsese double feature. You picked his Jesus movie, which we all know how that went.
Yeah. You gotta give Scorsese credit though. Like, he's like 88, and he's still just cranking out movies.
Yeah, this is a guy whose his first love is movies, and I have so much respect for him as a filmmaker.
Yeah, no, he's like truly one of the greats. Doesn't always vibe with me, but I really enjoyed this one quite a lot.
Cool. I wasn't expecting to see that one on your list, but I love that it's on there. It's a great movie.
I don't think it's a movie that I ever talk about, but every now and then I'm like, that was really good.
Yep. My next movie, my number 48, is a movie that I talk about because I probably watch it at this point almost annually. I think this is borderline a flawless movie that honestly takes a few watches to really grasp, I think, fully what this movie is about. It's another Coen Brothers movie on my top 100 list. It's actually the third one, maybe not the last, and that is No Country for Old Men.
Heyo.
Yes.
Nice.
This is a movie that every time I watch it, it completely rocks my world. It has one of the greatest villains ever in Anton Chigurh. Javier Bardem is quickly become one of my favorite actors of all time. He's just so consistently the best part of every movie he's in. It's a movie about Josh Brolin as a highly competent person. It's a movie about the unrelentingness of the unrelenting movement of time. And yeah, I don't know. I just absolutely love this movie.
That's a movie that I saw in theaters when it came out, and I was just too young for it. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean?
This is a movie that you have to have some life experience for. And that's kind of what this movie is about, is like
the changing of the tides.
Yeah. I think this movie, as you get older, becomes more and more relevant, if anything.
I think my favorite part of the movie is when, I forget the context, but Shiger goes into like a motel to like try to get Josh Brolin, and there's like a very kind of like overweight, surly.
Yeah, not the hotel scene. You're talking about the convenience store scene, a mainstay of Coen Brothers films.
No. I'm talking about it's a scene later on where Shiger is hunting down Josh Brolin, and he goes into like a hotel or something, and it's an old lady.
Oh,
and he
okay.
tries
I thought you were
to...
talking about the old man scene.
No. But like he tries to get information from this old lady, and she just basically tells him to fuck off, and he does.
Yeah.
And I always think about that. I'm like, that old lady just stared down the most evil man in history and lived.
Yeah.
You know?
It's honestly one of the great all-time performances.
I think also one of my favorite behind-the-scenes stories is they actually somehow got famously reclusive writer Cormac McCarthy, who wrote the book that this was based on, to come to set. And they asked him why he chose the name Anton Chigurh, and they were like, oh, well, you know, they were talking about like this obscure Catholic shit about like the Saint Anton, who was like, like the angel of, I don't know, drug addicts or something. And Cormac McCarthy was just like, I don't know, I just thought the name sounded cool.
And it does sound cool.
It does sound cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the great 21st century movies.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. Again, I think that this one takes at least 2 rewatches to fully start to get everything that it's saying. It's a movie it's a very methodical film, and it's a cat and mouse game starring 2 characters who are highly competent, and that's something that is wildly entertaining to watch, despite it, not being like as action-packed and fast-paced as some of the other thrillers on my list.
I think that's what threw me off when I was a kid, is that it ends with that famous scene with Tommy Lee Jones recounting a dream.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I was just like, I what? Like, I didn't get it.
Right.
But then as an adult, I was like, oh,
yeah.
Like, I get it now.
Yeah.
Chills.
Yeah. One of the great American movies.
Okay.
No Country for Old Men, number 48.
Tight. So my number 48 is not at all as arty as No Country for Old Men. It's actually kind of the opposite. And I don't think this is another movie that came out right before the pandemic, and it was kind of, I remember people kind of at the time saying it was the last blockbuster, and there might be a little something to that, and that is 2019's Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, okay. I see it. I respect it. It will not be showing up on my list, but I respect you for liking this movie.
I know that Marvel gets a lot of flack these days, just for like oversaturation or superhero fatigue or a couple missteps or whatever, but like I saw this movie in theaters 3 times, including with you.
Yep.
And it's one of those movies where it's just like, fuck, like they did it.
Yeah, they landed the plane.
It took like, and I mean, think about what an accomplishment that is, right? We started in 2008 with Iron Man, plucky little movie that could, and then somehow we went through, I think, 11 years and maybe at the time 22 movies, and like, boom, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it's just a culmination of a decade's worth of work.
I know. And like, I've heard some people give this movie flack for like different things.
Yeah.
And like some people liked Infinity War more. And I'm like, to those people, like, obviously I respect everyone's opinion, but I'm just kind of like, I don't think you got it. Like, this is the 3rd act of the MCU.
Yeah.
This is the grand finale,
Yeah.
right? Like, and again, like, those of you who were around at the time, like, it was a big deal. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's one of the biggest movie events of all time.
yeah, and like, even like, I was seeing memes about it for like a whole year after the fact, right? Like, it really seemed to strike a chord with people. It fully rounded out Tony Stark and Steve Rogers' character arc. Like, I do remember leaving the theater that first time and just kind of being like, okay, like, it's almost kind of like, that like Anakin and Padme meme where it's like, you did it. You're going to stop now, right?
Right.
It's like dead stare. You're going to stop now, right? So, yeah, no, like really kind of one of those generation defining films.
Yeah.
Nothing but good things to say about it.
Absolutely. Like if I were to put a movie on my top 100 list as one of the biggest cultural movies, if I had put a slot for that, I would have put Endgame in there.
Yeah, and I mean, how appropriate is it that it came out the year before the pandemic too?
Yeah.
So it was kind of just like boom. It really was kind of like the end of something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I guess not quite the end of something because here we are. Many years and many bad projects later.
My number 47 is a movie that came out a couple years before that. It is a movie that I think is objectively this filmmaker's best film.
Okay.
However, it is not the number one movie of this filmmaker on my top 100 list. Although, like I said, I think that if you strip down and let's just get into it. We're talking Dunkirk by Christopher Nolan.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw this one in theaters and was absolutely blown away by everything. Like, this is one of the best directed, scored, edited, just beautiful cinematography movies of the last 25 years. I think that this is where Chris Nolan, all of the ideas and themes and the way that he likes to use time in his movies, I think that this is the pivotal film in his career. Like I said, I actually think that there are other movies that are going to appear slightly higher on my list of his, but I think that if you strip down maybe an all-star performance or genre that you might like more, I think that objectively speaking, you strip away some of your biases, I think that Dunkirk is his best film.
Okay, shit. And that's like the one Christopher Nolan movie I haven't seen.
Wild.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah, it's a war movie, which, I mean, you're not a big war movie guy, but it's,
I'm just not really a big Chris Nolan guy, to be honest.
Yep.
Like, he's always, I think, left unchecked, his worst impulses don't really vibe with me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe this movie won't vibe with you. However, I do think that this is a culmination of a lot of his themes and ideas.
I will give. Do you want a little spoiler?
Mm-hmm.
There is a Christopher Nolan movie on my list.
I mean, I'm not surprised by that.
Okay, but it might not be the one you think.
Cool.
Okay.
That is my number 47.
Okay, tight. My number 47 is a movie that I saw a couple times as a teenager and like always liked, but like I liked it fine. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It was never huge or anything. But then I kind of rediscovered it as an adult, and it's sort of watching it became an annual tradition. It's a movie that I think, actually, I'm going to throw down a hot take. Are you ready?
Yes.
I think this is the most charming movie I've ever seen.
Wow.
Just in terms of performances and tone and pure style. And that is a little movie called Die Hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of suspected we might be talking about Die Hard at some point.
I mean, I remember, like, again, watching as a teenager, liking it, not loving it. And I remember, like, people saying that it was, like, one of the best screenplays of all time.
Yep.
Multiple people I respected said it was their all-time favorite movie. There was that fucking Rick and Morty episode about it. And then we did it for the podcast, and I was just like, fuck, they got me.
Yeah.
They fucking got me. This movie is fucking amazing.
Yes.
Easily Bruce Willis's best performance. Arguably, what's his butt's best Alan Rickman's best performance.
In his first performance as an actor.
Yeah, really. Like, it's phenomenal. It also has like one of my favorite out-of-pocket lines in any movie when John McClane is fighting the blonde guy, and he's just like, "You should have heard your brother squeal when I broke his neck." It's like, John, calm down. No, it's I like it too because it's, on the one hand, it's a dumb, cheesy action movie. On the other hand, like, it allows the male hero a vulnerability that you often don't see in these types of movies.
Right.
Like, there's an emotional, thematic core that a lot of these movies neglect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is one we did for the podcast when all of the news broke about Bruce Willis's condition, which was still really upsetting, honestly.
I know,
like,
right?
It's kind of a sore spot. This is, I absolutely love Die Hard as well. This is a really, really solid choice.
Yeah.
Cool. My number 46 is maybe the only movie on my list that I've seen once in my life, and I have no need to go back because the viewing experience was perfect. The time I watched this movie could not have been better. And it is a culmination of my life up until that point in time. And that is Toy Story 3.
Nice.
Yes.
That's a really good choice.
Yes. I saw Toy Story 3 at the tail end of my high school career in theaters.
We were kind of the exact right age for Toy Story 3.
Yes.
Right? Because,
Yeah.
like, there'd been, like, an 11 or 12-year gap between 2 and 3.
Yep.
We were Andy's age,
Yep.
like 17, 18.
We both kind of grew up with the Toy Story films as well, and a lot of people in our generation grew up with the Toy Story films. So it just felt like it came out at a perfect time. The themes of the movie were very strong. There's kind of some like deeply moving parts. Like there's a part in this movie that is a borderline upsetting.
Are you talking about the incinerator scene?
Yeah, the incinerator scene.
Nobody has forgotten about the incinerator scene.
No, it's truly one of like the most upsetting scenes in a child movie ever. Like I remember being in the theater with my friends at that time, and like all of us kind of like holding each other in that moment.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any kids movie has ever or will ever hold that kind of weight in my.
In some ways, this movie really was made for us, just
Yeah.
because, again, we were Andy's age, right?
Yep.
Like, we were both going off to college around this time.
Yeah.
I actually insisted my parents and my sister, we all see it together as a family.
Mhm.
And I remember just being like, whoa. I remember my mom kind of rolling her eyes and being like, that incinerator scene was a little much. And I was like, shut up, Mom. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a movie that I would fault no one for having high up on their top 100 list, especially us millennials who grew up with the Toy Story films. And this really was just kind of like the perfect cap to the series.
And it was the final Toy Story movie. Toy Story 4 wasn't bad. It just didn't need to exist.
Yeah, fair enough.
know what
I've
I
never
mean?
seen it. Honestly,
you don't fucking have to.
Yeah, number 46, Toy Story 3.
Okay. My number 46 is a movie that is huge. It is huge. I was about to make a pun about the name, but I restrained myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movie that I actually hadn't seen for a really, really long time, and I almost kind of prided myself on having never seen it. Then I saw it, and I was like, fuck. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
That was as good as everyone says it was.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a little 1997 movie called James Cameron's Titanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually a little surprised that it made it this high on your list.
I am too, but I really was blown away by this movie.
Yeah. There's something special about it. Like, it's undeniable, and the haters are just straight up haters.
Like you hear jokes about like, oh, there was room for both of them on the piece of wood, or
Right.
like, Rose is such a whore because she's, she's
Jesus.
no, that's the joke I've heard all the time that like she's reuniting with Leonardo DiCaprio instead of her husband.
Your
in heaven.
algorithm is a dark place.
It kind of is, but no, I really liked it. It's actually kind of like, I have to commend James Cameron for being like. And especially us, we saw the OG Titanic movie, A Night to Remember. And, I think both of us kind of bounced off it. I definitely bounced off it harder than you did.
Yeah, I respected it, I think, a lot more than you did. I think there were aspects of it, but yeah, I kind of get where you're going here with the fact that, like, James Cameron saw this movie and said, I love certain aspects of this film. Let me expand and, like, make this a story worth telling.
Well, I think it's more like, he very wisely was like, no one who fucking cares about a ship sinking if we don't care about the people on board.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I particularly love the final tracking shot where like it goes into the sunken ship and like we pivot back to the past where all the dead people are waiting. Like the score, the Celine Dion score always gets me. It's genuinely a phenomenal movie.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
And you know what, James Cameron, you can stop making the fucking Avatar movies, but actually you can't because they all somehow generate billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. My number 45 is a movie, again, that we've done on this podcast. I didn't really know a whole lot about it before we did on the podcast, and then when we did it, this is actually one of the early movies we did on our podcast, And I believe immediately after, I was like, you and me need to watch this movie because I think it's really special. And I think it's a movie that you might even have higher up on your list just because it maybe kind of fits your sensibilities a little bit more than me. But anyway, this is my favorite Western film of all time, and that is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Hell yeah. That's
Yeah.
a great movie.
Yes, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, one of the best movies of the 1960s, the late 1960s, coming out in 69. This movie holds up almost perfectly.
It's written by the iconic William Goldman, easily one of the best screenwriters of the 20th century. Also, just one of the funniest movies I've ever seen and most quotable, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I think my favorite moment will always be like, when they're about to jump off the cliff. Mm-hmm. He's like, I can't swim. And then Butch just laughs and he's like, what, are you crazy? The fall will kill you.
Yeah, this movie is just magical from
or just
start to
like,
finish.
When Flatnose, that's his name, is like challenging Butch for like leadership of the gang.
Yeah.
And the one guy's like, well, you always said any of us could challenge you, Butch. And he's like, well, yeah, I only said that because I didn't think anyone was gonna, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is my favorite Paul Newman performance so far, although I will admit that I haven't seen a lot of Paul Newman movies yet. But it's kind of like, even in just seeing this one Paul Newman movie, you're kind of like, oh, I get it. Like, I get why this guy has become like one of the most iconic stars in Hollywood history.
Well, even Robert Redford too, right? You're just kind of like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I think that it's also kind of one of the first buddy movies to maybe transition into that more modern style of filmmaking. That
I think modern really is like the operative word.
Yeah.
Like there are movies from like 10 years ago that haven't aged as well as this movie.
Yeah. Surprisingly. Yeah, I absolutely love this movie, and I recommend watching it with your friends because you will have a good time.
Watch it with your bros.
Yeah. Watch with the boys.
The boys.
Cool. My number 45, Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid.
Nice. My number 45 is another crossover. It's a movie that I actually have seen multiple times, and I'm always kind of surprised by how good it is.
Mm.
It's not that I was expecting it to be bad, but like it's a movie that like really, really keeps getting better for me.
Yeah.
And that is actually, I have to renege. So remember how earlier I said there was only 2 movies that have ever scared me?
Mm-hmm.
And then I corrected myself and said, actually, there's 3.
Okay.
And then I corrected myself again and said, but the third one's not on my list. Well, I was wrong because the third one is here on my list.
Oh, wow.
And that is It Follows.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Even higher on your list than mine.
I loved it.
Wow.
I had a really, really good time with this movie.
Yeah.
I think the premise alone is kind of, I think I said this when you talked about it.
Yeah.
Like the premise is so good that like even if the execution hadn't been great, it would have really elevated the material. But like this movie is so good, and like there's a social commentary there, but it's not like thrust in your face. And like I love the characters and the tone and like the timelessness of the setting.
Yeah.
Like I like how subtle and haunting it is.
Mm-hmm.
I particularly like the ending too and how ambiguous it is.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's honestly, I'd say this. Okay, you know what? I might even go as far to say this is my 10 out of 10 perfect movie.
Yeah, I very much agree. Like, this is somehow a borderline flawless horror movie that, again, you can watch it and feel the need to explore all of the deeper ideas that this movie has going, or you can watch it just to be terrified.
And you will be terrified.
Yeah.
So, no, great movie.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Feels bad, man.
Cool. I actually think that we're getting very, very close to me pretty much being at the point where every movie that we talk about is a 10 out of 10.
Okay, shit.
Yeah.
I'm not quite there yet, but I'm climbing the ladder.
Yeah, I'm actually only about 2 movies away from saying, you know what? Just about every movie that is left on my list is a 10 out of 10 banger.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really happy that It Follows made it on there. I wish we had got to see this one in theaters for the 10-year anniversary last year. But
Oh, shit. I forgot about that.
yeah, I was really sad that we didn't get to go see it, but
That's okay.
maybe for the 20-year.
Yeah, we'll still be alive, hopefully.
Yeah.
If nuclear hellfire has not consumed the planet, we'll still be here.
My number 44 is one of my nostalgia movies. It's a movie that I watched a lot with my grandma as a kid, and I don't know if I quite got it. I think I was actually more scared of it than anything as a kid, but we recently revisited it. I guess not really recently. We revisited it early on in the podcast because it was a movie that, because it was so important in my childhood, and it was a movie I watched so much with my grandma growing up, that I felt like it kind of deserved an episode to.
Can I guess what it is?
Sure.
Is it Miracle on 42nd Street?
No.
Okay.
That was the first time I'd ever seen the movie. Very, very good movie. But this is E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Oh shit! A movie I still have not seen.
What?
Yeah.
Honestly, this is maybe Steven Spielberg's best movie.
Okay.
On any given day, I could argue that this is his best movie. It is a movie that is filmed by a guy who somehow was still so connected with his childhood that he was able to film this through the lens of a child. It's a movie that is cut and edited and fully kind of embracing its near perfect score. Literally they wrote the score for this movie before filming, and so a lot of the scenes line up with some of the highs and lows of the score of the film. It's a timeless film that, again, as a kid, I don't think you fully can appreciate a movie like this until you've kind of had some mileage, and at which point there's a moment in time when the score and the action just literally rises where it'll just crush me. I'm almost tearing up right now just thinking about it.
Is that where the bikes go into the sky? Yeah.
It's truly one of the all-time great cinematic moments.
It really is. It says something that I've never seen this movie, but I know about the bikes in the sky.
Yeah.
It's become iconic.
Yeah, we need to watch that movie sometime because
we should.
Genuinely, I think that I might even be actually under playing this movie. This movie actually might deserve a bit higher on my list. It's just been a few years since I watched it.
Okay, shit, dude.
Yeah,
well,
number 44, E.T.
E.T. Okay, cool. My number 44 is a movie that I saw in theaters when it came out. I forget with who. Oh, it was John. I think we were both kind of. It's actually kind of a good point. It's kind of like I either saw it with you or John, and that's it.
Yep.
So it's a movie that I kind of liked when I saw it in theaters. And I was like, yeah, that was interesting. I actually just rewatched it recently and was like, fuck, that was good. And that is a little movie called Oblivion.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I have been meaning to watch this since you said it was good. I'm kind of on a sci-fi tear right now.
Oh, yeah, and I'm not even really a sci-fi guy, but I really liked this movie. One of the best screenplays I've ever seen. I'm not even a huge Tom Cruise guy, but I was like, wow, he's a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
He really fucking sold this movie.
Wow.
So, no, I mean...
What's it about? I have very little knowledge about this movie.
All you really need to know going in is that at some point, I think it's the 2070s.
Okay.
At some point, aliens invaded.
Mm-hmm.
So the governments of the world just nuked the fuck out of the planet to stop them.
Oh.
And they did, for the most part. So now Tom Cruise and his partner are sort of part of I don't even know what you call it. They're part of a maintenance team where this big space vessel is harvesting all the water from Earth so that it can be funneled to the human colony on the moon, right?
Oh, okay.
And their job is just kind of to make sure that the remaining aliens don't interfere with the process and that all the machines run smoothly. But Tom Cruise is haunted by memories that he can't really remember because his mind had to be wiped before he was assigned this job, just in case he fell into the wrong hands. And just this subtle creeping sense that all is not as it should be and that there's something missing here. So it really kind of builds on this sort of existential threat, this certain dread. The whole idea is that once they complete the mission, they're going to be sent off to the human colony where they can rebuild the human race. But he's kind of hey man, I'm a human. I don't want to leave Earth, right?
Right.
So
cool.
Yeah, it's very slow building, but it's very, very good.
Yeah, I really do want to watch this one. I'm a big sci-fi nut, and we will be talking about another sci-fi movie in a second.
Okay, tight.
Yeah. So my number 43 is actually, funny enough, another Chris Nolan movie. I think that this is one of maybe a couple of movies that are high up on my list here that I don't think is perfect. However, I find deeply moving and really resonant, and that is Interstellar.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that Interstellar is Matthew McConaughey's best performance, hands down. I'm actually somewhat surprised he didn't win an Oscar for this film.
I would agree it's probably his best movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, so I'll be the first to admit that this is not a perfect movie. I think that this movie has one crucial deep flaw in that Chris Nolan basically says maybe some of the deeper themes of the movie out loud when he really should have let the audience arrive at those. I think that honestly, this is one of the movies that's the highest on my list that I think, could be cut down by about 10 minutes and it would actually potentially be a flawless film.
Okay.
If you cut just some of the love conquers all aspects of this movie,
yeah,
it becomes perfect. And, if you haven't revisited this one in a long time because maybe you saw this movie for the first time and, came out with mixed feelings, which again, understandable. Like, I think that you should go and rewatch this one because it's one of the great sci-fi movies of all time. Like, it's almost comparable to 2001: A Space Odyssey in just the sheer audacity of the scale and the filmmaking craft on display.
Mm-hmm.
It has some of like the best shots of space that I've ever seen. Like, this movie basically shoots space through our contemporary lens. Like, the way that it shoots this movie, it feels like we're watching NASA exploring space.
Okay. Interesting.
It's impeccable. And again, some of the highs of this movie are incredible. It does have a few points that will pull you out of this film, and you just kind of have to accept the flaws of this movie. And once you do, it really just is a true masterpiece.
Okay. I remember everyone fucking talking about this movie when it came out.
Yeah.
I did see it in theaters with my cousin. And I think even then I was kind of like, I
Right.
But I don't know. I might have to rewatch it. Again, I'm not a huge Christopher Nolan guy, but I could be down to rewatch this.
This is a movie that I could borderline watch once a year for the rest of my life and be pretty content about it.
Okay, shit.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's one of my most rewatched 3-hour films.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Number 43, Interstellar.
Okay. My number 43 is a movie that I only saw within the last year, and in the grand tradition of movies not needing to go as hard as they did, or movies that I didn't expect to be as good as they were. This is a movie that I remember you trying to get me to come see in theaters with you, and I blew you off, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But then a couple months later, you showed it to me, and I was genuinely like, oh, fuck, Blake was right.
Yeah.
That was a really great movie.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just rewatched it again the other night in preparation for this. And
cool.
It's funny, I was visiting home, so my poor mother watched it with me.
Mm-hmm.
And even she admitted, she's like, that was a lot more engaging than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Watching this movie, I was kind of like, I think as creatives, we twist ourselves into knots sometimes, but it's really not that hard, is it? You just need a sympathetic main character who's imperiled. Yep. And has some kind of a character arc. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty classical screenwriting 101, honestly. I think part of what makes this movie even more elevated for me, though, is not just the main character, but the cast of characters that are kind of around him, right?
Yeah, and this movie, it's kind of funny how I feel like the MonsterVerse movies all kind of have the same problem, and it's that we don't give a fuck about the human characters.
Yeah.
They're almost in the way.
Right.
Whereas this movie, there's a solid 20-30 minutes where nobody even mentions Godzilla.
Yeah.
You almost forget it's a Godzilla movie,
mm-hmm.
and you're kind of you're riveted. You're gripped, right?
I think the core piece, I think you just nailed it, is Godzilla should be the only character in the way in a Godzilla movie.
Yeah, and I also kind of like how a lot of the, I think at some point we should do a deep dive on the Godzilla franchise because holy fucking shit. But
I'm down. I've
yeah.
only seen a few Godzilla movies in my life. But
I like how it's kind of funny how a lot of the later Godzilla movies seem to, and I don't have perfect Godzilla knowledge, but I know a little bit about it. How Godzilla kind of transformed into sort of an anti-hero or a defender of the earth.
Yeah, he has different arcs, right?
Right. Whereas I like how this movie's just no, he's a dick.
Yeah. He is existential.
Yeah. And I mean, you could almost kind of classify this as elevated horror because Godzilla is very clearly a metaphor for trauma.
Yeah.
Or like a metaphor for PTSD.
Yeah, and the aftershocks or the aftermath of World War II and the dropping of the 2 nuclear bombs in Japan.
You know what's really funny? Again, I was forced my mom to watch this with me when I was visiting her. And the scene where Godzilla breathes the atomic breath is genuinely, I think for me, the highlight of the movie.
Yeah.
It's the most moving moment. But it's funny. He breathes the atomic breath, and then there's the mushroom cloud. And my mom very innocently was like, that looks like a mushroom cloud. I'm like, yeah. And then she's like, it's almost like Godzilla is nuclear powered. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, Mom, that's the metaphor.
You're getting there, buddy. You're getting there.
I'm overplaying my hand a little bit, but I thought that was really cute.
That's great.
Anyways, yeah, great movie. Like it a lot. Thank you for forcing me to watch it.
Yes, I think that everybody should be forced to watch it.
Yep.
If only to recognize how fantastic of a movie it is.
What's funny, and I haven't really done any research to back this up, but I think this movie didn't do that well in Japan where it was made, but it like really blew up in the international market.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it did pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyways.
Yeah, it's one of the best movies of the last 5 years. I very much agree.
Mm-hmm.
My number 42 is a movie from one of my favorite directors of all time. It's one of the last movies that I've watched while doing my top 100 here, and moved up a few spots from there. This is the first, I will say, true masterpiece, and pretty much from here on out, I don't need to say that again because you can just know that all the rest of these movies, I think, are 10 out of 10s.
Okay.
And this movie ends with a character saying, I think this is my masterpiece, which is very meta because it's Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards.
Okay, tight.
Yeah. This movie, I rewatching it again, and it's been a long time since I watched this one. I think out of any watch of this movie, this was the time that I really, really got into the bones of this film and understood why it's so special. This movie opens as a Western, moves into a Dirty Dozen style World War II flick, and then ends with an exploitation 70s revenge movie. And it is one of the deepest love letters to film, like one of the deepest cut reference movies I've ever seen. Like I said, it literally ends with a character saying, I think this is my masterpiece, which is just so clearly like
Tarantino tipping his hand to the audience.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's a movie without flaw. It's perfect. I think multiple rewatches are absolutely warranted for this one because every time I watch it, there's something kind of, like I said, new that I noticed or had missed. There's movies that I've watched, since the previous rewatching that I'm like, oh, this is what he's referencing here with this moment. Like the Dirty Dozen reference, for example. That,
a movie that we did, by the way.
Yeah,
you can check it out.
Exactly. So, yeah, this is one of the all-time great films. I think that everybody should watch this movie at least once in their life, even if not everybody's going to maybe gel with it as much as
I don't know that I only saw it once in theaters when it came out. That's how old I am. And I don't remember liking it that much, but so maybe I am overdue for a rewatch.
I think you are, because especially being a film nerd and a history of film, I think that this movie, again, the more you're kind of down the rabbit hole, the more this movie pops.
I do think I don't think I will ever forget though the sheer incredulity I felt when they killed Hitler at the end.
Yeah.
Like I remember just being like, I think I even looked over at like my mom and my sister. I'm like, can he do that? Like, you can't do that. Like,
yeah, it's kind of one of like the most bold like revisionist history movies.
Actually, fuck Hitler, right?
Yeah, and it's something that Tarantino has done since.
To I think a much less potent effect, but yeah.
It's kind of like Jaws, right? Where it's like you get one scare, you get one kind of like bold step in a new direction, and after that, like, it does lose its luster. But
I do really have to commend, because like, even at like 16, 17 when this movie came out, I was like, well, it's obviously this plan isn't going to work because Hitler, went on to commit suicide in a bunker years later.
Right.
And then he's dead. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. I think that even despite the revisionist history, the fact that this is from the lens of an American, and the Americans do play a very prevalent part both in World War II, but also this movie, I think this movie is also like deeply respectful to the people, especially the French people at this time, and like the experiences and the trauma that they had.
Yeah, actually, I've never really thought about that, but you don't really see a lot of French Revolution movies, do you? I guess
not in North America, right?
I guess I've never seen one.
Yeah, like you and I might just be kind of out of the culture that those movies come out in, but I think that like rewatching, especially again this time, that was something that I really appreciated, was how respectful it was of like the sacrifices of the French during this time in history.
Yeah. Okay. Shit. I might have to rewatch it.
Yeah. Number 42, Inglourious Bastards.
Okay. My number 42 is actually a movie that we just already talked about, and that is Toy Story 3.
Yeah, there we go. Nice.
Yeah, I think I said everything I need to say about it when I actually went into more detail because I knew it was about to appear on my list in a few entries. But yeah, no, I genuinely, I've seen a couple people shit talk this movie, and I want to punch them. I want to punch all of them in the face.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, they just don't get it, right? Like,
actually, you know what? You can quote me on this. I'm pretty sure I'm telling the truth. I'm pretty sure Quentin Tarantino declared this the best movie of 2010, the year it came out.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked by that. Yeah, I think that there are very few movies that can have as deep of an impact on like a 17, 18-year-old and also be for kids.
Right, especially at that age too, and like you're kind of like sticking your chest out and you're trying to be like really macho,
Yeah,
but
like, your own person.
Yeah, right. But then you're just like, oh fuck, like I'm gonna go home and hug all my toys. Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, cool, great choice. My number 41 is a movie that Jason and I did early on in this podcast when we were kind of still trying to figure things out.
We're still trying to figure things out.
Yeah. It's a foreign movie that I don't think I was expecting to like as much as I did, and I've rewatched it a couple times since, and every time, everything about this movie has blown me away. It's maybe a quieter movie than I think more contemporary audiences are going to want. However, I think it's so riveting that I think a lot of people in 2025 would still get a lot of enjoyment out of.
Okay.
And that is Harakiri.
I knew that was going to show up at some point.
Yeah. Number 41, it's a movie about the samurai and about the samurai code, and how also like the samurai at this time and in general, like the people who are in power are often the people who are most likely to abuse power, who are most likely the most hypocritical.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody in our day and age could possibly relate to that.
Yeah,
but
it genuinely, like, it is one of the most moving films I've ever seen. It has some of the most beautiful cinematography for a black and white movie I've ever seen.
That's what's his butt, right? Kurosawa?
No, it's Kobayashi.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the great Japanese movies of all time. I think it's a masterpiece. It's like number 3 or 4 on Letterboxd, which is it's number 1 right now on Letterboxd.
Oh shit! Wow, we are in the zeitgeist right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is, like I said, I think one of the great movies of international cinema.
Okay, tight.
Yeah.
Can I share a Harakiri adjacent story?
Sure.
So I was not involved in that episode. I don't think I'd been invited on yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I did get really drunk on my 30th birthday. And the next morning, I was looking for something to just put on to listen to while I tried to sleep off a hangover. And I listened to your episode of Harakiri.
Yep.
I think it arguably made the hangover worse, but...
Have you watched it yet?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, it's so good.
Let's watch it when I'm not hungover.
Okay. Sounds good. Deal.
My number 41, which will complete this episode, is not maybe a little similar to Harakiri in subject matter, but certainly not in tone. That's a movie that we've already done an episode on a couple of years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Rob Reiner's The Princess Bride.
Hey! I was just waiting for one of us to say The Princess Bride.
Yep, there it is. I mean, arguably a perfect movie. Like, my only real critique of this movie, and I shouldn't lead with a critique, but I'm going to, is just Buttercup and how she doesn't have enough to do, which I think is a fair criticism. Otherwise, truly a spectacular movie. I think, Inigo Montoya is arguably one of the best characters in all of fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die, right?
Yep.
It's a movie that everybody, everywhere, I think, could watch and would enjoy.
And it's a movie that, because it kind of straddles so many genres, it has some like really lighthearted moments, it has some very dark moments. It's a movie that like I am willing to put on in pretty much any mood at pretty much any point in time and be very happy with my choice.
Right. And like, I think arguably Peter Falk, the grandfather, steals the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fact that this whole thing is a story that a grandfather is reading his grandson kind of just grounds the whole thing and makes it even more charming.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite moments is, like Peter, I forget what happens, but like Peter Falk, the grandfather, is reading something and the kid says, I knew Buttercup wouldn't marry that stupid Humperdinck. And the grandfather's like, yes, you're very clever. Now shut up.
I will say, just a quick note on this, that this is maybe one of the best cast movies of all time.
I would agree, right? Like,
I cannot picture another human being in any other role.
No. Like, again, I mean, Andre the Giant is Fezzik.
Yep.
Like, everybody else. Like, it's even Fred Savage is the kid, right?
Yeah.
Just the right amount of like smarmy and like not wanting to be vulnerable in front of his grandfather, but also like really excited.
Yeah, he feels kind of like a younger Ferris Bueller.
Kinda, yeah. So, no, I mean, yeah, amazing movie. Can watch it at any time.
Yeah.
So quotable, too.
So
right?
quotable.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the most quotable movie on our list thus far.
You seem a decent fellow. I hate to kill you.
You seem a decent fellow. I hate to die.
Exactly. And I'm going to take this opportunity to say, if you haven't read the book, which was also written by William Goldman, you need to go out and check it out.
Yeah. I guess that's the second time William Goldman has popped up in the last few movies as well.
Yeah, well, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, absolutely. He is probably one of the great screenwriter icons of all time.
Yeah, and great novelist as well.
Yeah, cool. That is a fantastic movie to end 60 through 41 on. I'm very glad we got to talk about The Princess Bride because I do love that movie. And yeah, we will see you next week for 40 through 21.
Woo! Yeah, we're getting to the end.
Yeah. I guess no spoilers, but how do you feel about the next 20?
Let me check the list. Well, I think we're starting off with a arguably controversial pick, but there's a lot of what I'm noticing, and I didn't do this intentionally, but I feel like every cluster of 20 has some sort of a running theme throughout.
Right.
Like, I mean, infamously, and I'm saying infamously, like my last 20 were very Batman and Dragon Ball Z focused. Yeah.
80 through 60 had a theme.
Yeah, I guess. So I guess, yeah, we'll see what theme emerges next week.
Cool. I think my theme of the next one is actually maybe my most nostalgic bracket. It's a bracket that I think every movie on this list, or just about every movie on this list, I think you're going to really be excited about to get to talk about. And potentially we'll have some more crossover.
Hell yeah.
Cool. All right. See you next week.
Bye.